According to Aztec history, their priests prophesied that their nomadic people would settle in the place where an eagle would be seen on a cactus, devouring a serpent. Having arrived on a swampy island in the middle of Lake Texcoco, the Aztecs saw the foretold sign. An eagle, perched on a cactus, was devouring a serpent. There they founded their town, Tenochtitlan, which is known today as Mexico City. 100 years later, a young Aztec named Coatlatlahuatzin, meaning speaking eagle, was born. He would later convert to Christianity and take on the names of Saint John and Saint James. Juan Diego. From their magnificent capital city, the Aztecs emerged as the dominant force in central Mexico, developing an intricate social, political, religious, and commercial organization that brought many of the region's city-states under their control. But they were ruthless in their domination of the region, and possibly 20,000 people were sacrificed a year in the Aztec Empire, with special occasions calling for even more bloodshed. The Aztecs boasted that 80,000 people were sacrificed in the dedication of their new temple to the gods of rain and sun, the victims being mostly made up of captives from rival tribes. Their reign, however, would not last forever, and Cortés eventually conquered Mexico for Spain, with the support from a number of rival tribes who were only too happy to assist in their downfall. Bishop Zumarraga, the first bishop of Mexico, had become so distressed by what he was seeing that he had a message secretly sent to the King of Spain that said, "Unless the hand of God intervenes directly in Mexico, all will be lost." On December 9th, 1531, Juan Diego left very early in the morning to attend Mass on what was then the feast day of the Immaculate Conception. He walked past Tepeyac Hill when suddenly he heard a gentle, resounding song that seemed to come from a great multitude of birds. He looked around him and wondered if he was dreaming. All of a sudden, the song stopped, and a woman's voice, gentle and graceful, called him. Juanito, Juan Diego. He quickly climbed the hill and found himself in the presence of a very beautiful young woman, whose garments shone like the sun. The woman told Juan that she wanted a church built so that everyone could come to know her son. Juan Diego was told to go see the Bishop of Mexico, who listened to him, but said that he could not believe his story based on his word alone, and told him to come back another time. On his way home that evening, Juan Diego encountered the apparition again. He then begged her to choose someone more important for the task. The lady told him that she was entrusting her message to him specifically, and that he was to take it immediately to the bishop and then return the next day. Sunday morning after Mass, Juan Diego returned to the bishop's house. The bishop then asked for a tangible sign to prove the truth of the apparition. When Juan Diego returned home, he told the beautiful lady, who was waiting for him on the hill, about his most recent meeting with the bishop. "Come back tomorrow morning to seek the sign he is asking for," she replied. Returning home, he found his uncle deathly ill, and the next day he had to stay at his bedside to take care of him. As the illness grew worse, his uncle asked his nephew to go look for a priest so that he could receive last rites before he died. Tuesday, at dawn, Juan Diego started on the road to the city. Approaching Tepeyac Hill, he thought it best to make a detour so as not to meet the lady. But suddenly, he saw her coming to meet him. Mary asked him what was going on. Embarrassed, he explained that his uncle was dying and that he needed to get a priest to anoint him. She responded, "Listen, put it into your heart, my youngest son, that what frightened you, what afflicted you, is nothing. Do not let it disturb your heart. Do not fear this sickness or any other sickness. Am I not here, I who have the honor to be your mother? Are you not in my shadow and under my protection? Are you not in the hollow of my mantle, in the crossing of my arms? Do you need anything more? Let nothing else worry you, disturb you. Don't grieve over your uncle's illness, because he will not die of it. You may be certain that he is already healed. Go up, my youngest son, to the top of the hill, to where you saw me and I told you what to do. There you will see spread out several kinds of flowers. These different kinds of flowers are the proof, the sign that you will take to the bishop." Juan Diego ran to the bishop, but when he arrived, the servants made him wait for hours because they believed him to be crazy. Finally, because of his patience, they allowed him to see the bishop. Juan Diego then unfolded his tilma and let the flowers fall to the floor. The bishop, upon seeing the flowers, began to weep. They were Castilian roses from his home country of Spain, and they were picked in the dead of winter. But very quickly, Juan Diego noticed that the bishop and the rest of the people in the room were now kneeling before him, in awe of an image of the lady imprinted on his tilma. A pictograph image of the lady from Juan Diego's story, wrapped in the bluish-green color of the Aztec royalty, with stars across it that we now know are the same constellations that appeared before dawn on the morning of December 12, 1531. The high position of the black bow around her waist and the slight swelling of the abdomen showed that the lady is with child, as she stands before the sun, which symbolized the Aztecs' greatest god, and made clear that there was one greater than her still to come. The tilma has captivated the Mexican people for nearly 500 years, with the line between fact and myth at times very obscure. The image, which is imprinted on a tilma made with fiber from the agave plant, has a natural lifespan of less than 30 years, but somehow remains in all of its original vibrancy, and still has scientists baffled as to what the image is even made of. It has survived centuries of touching by overzealous pilgrims, a bomb blast in 1921, and is said to have mysterious figures from the scene in the bishop's office within the eyes of the Virgin that can be seen up close. But all of that is only secondary to the real miracle of Guadalupe, which is not that Juan Diego's uncle was healed the moment the lady said he would be, but rather that shortly after Juan Diego's encounter with the Virgin Mary on Tepeyac Hill, 9 million people were baptized into the Christian faith, and relative peace in the region was irrevocably changed. "500 years later, Tepeyac Hill remains a place of pilgrimage, where 20 million people each year visit in order to pay their respects to the woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, who brought the light of her son into the darkest of nights, so that through him all might believe."